Trainers and supervisors. In this video podcast, I'd like to discuss something I feel is often misunderstood. If you instruct or you're a supervisor, what should be expected of a training program or certification process? What is the expectation of someone attending a workshop or class as to the outcome of the participant's skill level and knowledge? What should a supervisor or coworker expect or be expecting the participant to be able to achieve after the course's completion? When someone attends a training course or receives a supervisor's instruction to achieve a task, the results is relevant to the worker's retention and understanding of the topic. It also is dependent on the speed at which the worker can retain and practice the instruction or topic, hopefully building his or her skills from the initial information of the training or instruction. From my experience working with training, instructing, and organizing for almost 40 years, there are several things I would like everyone to consider. These are mainly pointed towards equipment operation and maintenance, but may apply to other work aspects. Is the workshop material and application designed to certify or an attendee to be able to efficiently complete a given task or job? Or is it a certificate of completion of the workshop, basically proving they attended the workshop? Number 2, operator training to efficiency levels takes time. You're not going to achieve proficiency in chainsaw and other equipment operations and applications in a week of training, let alone in one day. 3, the information in a typical equipment operator's workshop is to emphasize and make the attendee aware of important factors of safety and productive operation, to take away information to use in future work operations. 4, the attendees should then formulate a plan for themselves to implement the information given and work towards implementation in their operations. 5, the attendee supervisors hopefully have the experience to lead or have already been through the same training and can assist the attendee in practicing and implementing the training he or she has obtained. 6, it is important that the attendee is given the ability and time to hone the skills obtained in the workshop. This takes more time with some people than others. 7, the supervisor is an important part in completing and continuing to monitor the attendee's use of the training in coming weeks and work applications. Supervisors should be challenging, observing, and testing the attendee to ensure they are capable. 8, a certification program that is to graduate a skilled and efficient operator will not likely be completed in a short workshop. It either involves the supervisor completing the training process with them or the attendee reaching the skill level through application and practice. A certificate of skill level workshop or training program would include observation and testing. It would confirm the graduate possesses the skill, safety, and ability to perform an expected task or job, i.e., a pilot, bus, or truck driver. The information would be given in a classroom setting, then in field applications would be carried out. Testing would occur after a given period of time to conclude the training process and certify passing it by achieved scores. This would be a time-consuming and more costly program for the company, employee, or participant. It would, however, produce a more valuable and productive operator for the task. And 10, reoccurring training or CEUs, continued education units, would then be required to maintain the certification status in coming months and years. In initiating either one of these certification types, You have to consider the human side of issues. I believe too often we expect or human resources projects an ideal employee for the job task. They spec the career job to what would be the right person for the job, and they attempt to find them without having to spend the funds or time to create one. Doesn't happen very often unless there are certificates to review. Even someone with experience as a full-time task has to be updated and reminded of issues regarding a job or task, especially if it's a dangerous one. I've heard people often state they only hire qualified people that have the necessary experience. But where do you find those people to hire? Do they have the experience related to your chainsaw task, your type and brand, your other equipment? Do they work well within the knowledge of your existing employee or crew? I have found that if teams, coworkers that plan the same way, use the same process planning, they're familiar with the same tools, they can communicate the task and accomplish it. If they plan differently, they argue about how the task should be done, and all the equipment they have to use is bad and is the fault. I've also experienced this with untrained operators. They are hesitant to try to do something, to maintain the equipment needed to do a task. Saws and other equipment is not maintained because they're not comfortable with how they do the job. I hope all of this makes sense to you as an operator and to you, a trainer and or supervisor. I want to leave you with a great story I was told recently regarding training time and effect it has in certification. A Marine drill sergeant had the recruits every day disassemble and reassemble their rifles in a given order. He had them repeat it every day the same way. The recruits complained they had it down. They knew what to do to achieve the task. The drill sergeant reminded them daily as he began the drill how important it was to know your equipment, to practice. The recruits were about to graduate to Marines, the final week. The drill sergeant told them to line up for the rifle drill. The recruits were disgusted. Not again, they thought. Then the drill sergeant handed each recruit a blindfold. He told them all to put them on. He said, "The drill today is for life. With the blindfolds on, one take the rifle apart, the other put it back together. In real life, it may be needed as a skill someday. In real life, it may be needed skill someday." We should be that proficient with our training and time allotted to practice and become proficient and professional. One day, our life or livelihood or that of those around us may depend on it. Take off your blindfold and make your certification plan. This is Tim Ard wishing you good sawing.